Hope, and welcome to our first ever online vacation Bible school titled Under the Sea. We are very sad that we can't meet with you in person, but we planned some fun things that we think you're gonna love, starting with this video. I'll be here to greet you every morning, followed by Mr. Kurt, who will sing some songs, joined by some familiar faces, so see if you can recognize any of them. Also, Pastor Evan's gonna do a teaching, Miss Ellen's gonna do some object lessons, we'll have memory verses, we'll have songs, we'll have some other drama stuff, and a whole lot of fun. So, are you ready? I didn't hear you. Shout out loud, are you ready? All right, well, it sounds like you're ready. Let's dive in and see what God has for us this week.
Ain't no rock gonna cry in my place. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Ain't no rock gonna cry in my place. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Ain't no bird gonna flap its feathers. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Ain't no bird gonna flap its feathers. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Ain't no tree gonna wave its branches. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Ain't no tree gonna wave its branches. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. Everybody praise His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name. As long as I'm alive, I'll glorify His holy name.
Hey kids, Pastor Evan here. Every day we're going to spend time together under the sea working through the story of Jonah for our devotion time. And we'll always begin with a game. And today's game is titled, You Had One Job. We're going to find some people hard at work at their job. They had one thing to do, but you have to guess, was it a major success? Praise hands up in the air. Or is it a major facepalm failure? Let's meet our first contestant and see how she does. All right, she's sorting through all this mail. What do you think? Facepalm or praise hands? Success or failure? Nicely done. All right, contestant number 2 on You Had One Job. We've got several guys hard at work. Some jobs are more dangerous than others. What's going to happen here? You guess from home. Now that is coordination. Well done. All right, number 3. Got a forklift loaded on a truck. What could go wrong here? With that back door open, what do you think's going to happen? You tell us. Oh man. I wonder what happened to that guy after that day at work. All right, final one. What do you think? Some major driving skills at the construction site? Facepalm or praise hands? Oh my goodness. Sure, he had to hit the showers that day. Well, this has been You Had One Job. How'd you do at home with your one job of competing at that game? Maybe you were 4 for 4 on those. We're spending time this week with our main man, Jonah, and he had one job. He was a prophet from the Lord, and the job of a prophet is when you get a message from God, you bring it to the people that God is sending you to. And we're going to see every day this week that was a major struggle for Jonah. I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard of the story of Jonah. In fact, you think Jonah, you instantly think big whale, right? Our under the sea graphic has the big fish on the image right there. And this is one Bible story among many stories in the Bible, like Daniel in the lion's den and Noah's Ark and David and Goliath. There are a lot of famous Bible stories that hopefully we know about these. But did you know this? The Bible's not just a collection of all these little stories telling us how to be fair and play nice and be kind, although those are important things to learn as well. But every story in the Bible is telling one big story, and one story that's not just about a guy named Jonah and a whale that swallowed him, but a big and awesome God. Check out this picture. This is something called a mosaic. A mosaic is when a bunch of little small pictures create one big picture. In fact, if you were to zoom in on this mosaic a little bit, you could see some of those small pictures there. And the stories in the Bible are like this. They're little stories of people that have happened over the span of thousands of years, and yet they're telling one story, one big story of God's love and of his salvation to us. And so, as important as it is to see the big whale, seeing the big God is what we're going to pay attention to this week. All right, we're starting right from the beginning, and Jonah is on the run. Remember, that's our theme for today, on the run. And we're going to find out about how we're on the run as well. 2 points. One is being against God, and the other is being away from God. And we'll see how Jonah and ourselves find our place here. Starting in chapter 1, verse 1. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and call out against it, for their evil has come up before me. Here's Jonah's job. Go to Nineveh and bring a message to them that God is against them because of their evil. Right? That might sound a little strange. Is God against people? We might think that God is just kind of okay with everyone and everything, and he's just there to take care of us, and whatever we need, he's going to make sure it happens, and he's there to make sure we know that we are loved. And it's important to see all those things about God, how he cares for our needs and he loves us. But you know, the Bible describes God as against certain things. He is against our sin. And because of our sin, we are against God. And that's true of the people of Nineveh here. Jonah is to bring them this warning that because of the ways that they've not loved God with their hearts, they've not treated their neighbor well, they've looked out for themselves in everything, that God is going to bring his judgment against them. And the Bible describes this as sin. Sin is not putting God first in our lives, not walking in obedience to him, not loving him with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that's true in some obvious ways. Obviously, hating others and hurting others are ways that we sin. What about things like selfishness? Like, me first. What about me? I want to jump in line. I need to have that, right? Where in your life do you shout out the word mine? That's mine. I need to have that. Right? That's selfishness. Or just caring about ourselves and not caring about how other people are affected. Right? That's selfishness. That's a form of sin. Disobedience. Disobedience to our parents is something that the Bible describes God as being against. There's this word called coveting in Scripture for wanting something so bad that I'm not going to be happy unless I get it. And maybe you complain and you throw a temper tantrum, or you go off in your own little pity party in your room because people aren't giving you what you want. What are you doing right there? You're turning something else into God. And God is against it because it's a heart that is ultimately against God. We all sin. The Bible says this, and this is our memory verse for today, Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. The majesty of God being first and seen as amazing and worshiped, we fall short of that. And that is a big problem. And fall short, you might think of like, maybe you've tried to ride a ride and you're not tall enough and you're so close. You're just an inch too short, right? You just fell short of that. Sometimes people think of themselves in that way. I'm not perfect, but I'm just maybe a little bit off. That's not how the Bible talks about us falling short of the glory of God. It's more like this. If we were to try to swim across the ocean, now how's about that? Falling short. You ever been to the beach and stood out and looked as far as you could see, and there's just water, and there's water, and there's water? There's no way that we could ever swim across and live. That's what the Bible means when it says that we fall short of God. In fact, our sin has us not only against God, but it puts us away from God, away from His presence. That's not just true of the people out there, the people that live in the city called Nineveh, the people that we would normally call the bad people doing bad things. In fact, God's own prophet ends up away from God. Notice what happens here in verse 3. But Jonah rose to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare and went down into it to go with them to Tarshish. And then it says it again, away from the presence of the Lord. Jonah finds himself on the run. He doesn't want to do what God says. He doesn't want to go to Nineveh. And we'll find out why a little bit later in the week. Why is going to Nineveh such a problem for Jonah that he would run? But notice he runs away from God. In fact, he runs in the opposite direction of where God had sent him. God said, go down to Nineveh. We have a map here. And what Jonah does is he wants to travel at least 2,500 miles in the opposite direction, right? That's what sin does. It has us running in the opposite way, as far away as we can get from God, thinking that we're right and thinking that we are okay. In fact, Jonah comes there and there's a ship that's ready for him, and he probably thinks he's fine in what he's doing. And he pays the fare and he hops on the ship and he feels that he is running from the Lord. Now, we can never really run from the presence of God. But what sin does is it puts us away from the God that we were created to know and enjoy, and all of the blessing that God has planned for us. And it is not good. And I love the way that this gets pictured in the life of Jonah. And in fact, you notice that in the verse we just read. He goes into the ship and he goes down. There's one direction. Not only is Jonah heading away from God, he is heading down, down, down. He went down to Joppa. He went down into the inner part of the ship. And we're going to see tomorrow that he is going to be thrown down into the sea and down into the belly of a whale. It is never good to run from God. You will always be heading down, and ultimately for Jonah, it's going to take him all the way down, facing death. That's the result when we run from God. It only brings sadness and death. So think about today. Most of us don't like to think of ourselves as running away from God or being against God, like I'm just against God. But whenever we put ourselves or put anything else first, we're just like Jonah, running away from the God who made us and who loves us. And we're going to keep hearing about what God does about that to chase us down when we run from him. We'll find out more about that tomorrow.
Okay, get together, Seymour. Get together, Seymour. This is your big break. You can do this. You can do this. All right, we ready? Okay. Hey there, Seymour Finnegan with your Sea Special Report. Today's episode, we'll be going to see some real sea explorers and interview them directly. So, today we have a wonderful episode. We are going to be actually interviewing Jonah himself. So, come with me here. We're actually been going to his house and we're going to speak to him live. He's not even expecting this. It's going to be great. Okay, you good? All right, here we go. Hey, Jonah! Should just be a second, please. Hey, Jonah! Hi, it's Seymour Finnegan with the Sea Special Report. Are you home? This is not what I wanted to happen on the first day. Hello? Yes. Are you serious? Okay. All right, we have just received word that Jonah has made himself to the shipyard, so we're going to make our way right there directly. Come, let's go.
Hello, all my fishy friends, and welcome to CHOMPED, the show where two unsuspecting sea guppies will try their best to recreate a spectacular dessert that we've designed for them. I'm your host, Sprinkles Yum Yum. Now, let's meet our judges. First up, we have Chef Victor Coco Meringue, chef and owner of Pie in the Eye Patisserie. Next, we have his twin brother, Nictor Butterbee Meringue, head roaster at Bucky's Patisserie. Now, competing for the grand prize, we have Chef Peter Pumpkin Eater Davidson and his opponent, Chef Mishka Mushka Pete Shefferstein. The challenge today will be recreating this ocean pudding cup. They'll have to put their best spatula forward if they want to win the coveted chomped shark crown. Will they succeed or be tangled in seaweed? Chef Pete, Chef Peter, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, this is Chomped! Go!
Peter Pumpkin Eater, did you wash your hands? You know, I'm really impressed with the way these gentlemen
Are these
go
fish
about
been
their business.
deboned?
Miska Muska, why are you using the other end of the whisker?
This water has a little algae.
Like
The
this.
colors and the textures concern me.
3,
Little
2,
blood.
1. Stop!
Hands up! Chef Victor, Chef Nictor, this is what the dessert is supposed to look like. These are the contestants' desserts. Please confer, decide on a winner.
This is Peter Pumpkin Eater's version.
Yes.
Okay, and I was a little concerned about his hygiene.
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay,
did see him going to the face and then
Yes.
back into the ingredients.
Very good with the dish.
It really is quite good. I like it. I like it. I really do. How's it texture?
Very sticky. Very sticky. Very.
I just want to let you know, in case you don't know, I am Victor Coco. Meringue pork.
As if there's
you know how to say that.
As if there's a Swedish
You do the
fish
coco.
caught right in your throat.
Coco.
It's Now I'm concerned though. This looks like blood.
It looks
Is
like
that
some
blood?
kind of foreign substance. What is that?
And wow. Oh, very bloody. Oh, very irony. A lot of iron in that.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
Which one will be chomped, and which one will go on to where the sharks crowned?
Despite the hygiene
Issues.
we like Peter Pumpkin Eater's
Yes.
version of this treat better.
And Muska, you've been chomped!
That's not good.
Oh!
There's the...
Chef Peter Pumpkin Eater, you have been crowned Chomp Champion.
You're going to Cleveland!
Tell me, what does it mean to you to be the Chomp Champion?
I just love it. I love myself. This is very nice. I'm so excited.
Memory verse of the Mackies!
Hey Savannah, do you know Romans 3:23?
No, I've never heard of it.
Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God."
Wow, thanks, Caesar. It makes we can all relate to that because we're all sinners. We challenge you to memorize Romans 3:23.
The nautilus is a marine mollusk from the cephalopod family, a distant cousin to the squid and octopus. Its striped, chambered shell and numerous tentacles give it an interesting appearance. However, the most unique feature is the way it moves using jet propulsion. As sea water pumps through the chambers in its shell, the nautilus pulls its body in, expelling the water which thrusts it through the ocean. If it's on the run, it can move forward, backwards, or sideways. These amazing creatures can live to be 20 years old, which is very long compared to its relatives. The nautilus is truly an awe-inspiring creature.
Well, hey there. How has your first virtual VBS day been? Well, sounds like you guys have had a fantastic time learning about Jonah. Let's see if we can track together what we've learned about Jonah's whereabouts today. So Jonah was on the run from God, and instead of Nineveh, he went down to Joppa to catch a boat to Tarshish, the opposite of where God wanted him to go. A friend of mine sent me a question, and I think it might help us to understand a little more about what was really going on with Jonah and with us.
Hi, my name is Grayson. Miss Ellen, do you know about sin?
Wow, Grayson, what a great question. As a matter of fact, I do know about sin, and I brought some things with me today to help to explain to you, to all of you, about sin. We are created by God to love Him with all our heart and our mind, our soul, our strength, and our might. And we sin when we don't love God that way. Sin really looks like living to please ourselves instead of living to please God. And it includes things that we think, we say, and we do. And sin is gross. It is not cool. It's not cute. And it's definitely not something you want to see how close you can get to. It's deadly, and it separates us from God. So I brought some things here with me today that I think is going to help us get a better picture of what sin looks like. Now, what would happen if we never washed our hands or took a bath? our bodies would become dirtier and dirtier, and soon we'd begin to smell really bad. And before long, germs would begin to breed and disease would set in, and it would be really unhealthy, and then we'd begin to contaminate others. Our condition would continue to worsen until the final outcome, it would be death. Did you know that sin can affect our spiritual lives in much the same way? Now, we can take a bath to wash the dirt off our bodies. But what can we do about sin? We all sin, and a bath, it doesn't remove the sin. So what are we supposed to do with all that? There's an answer to our sin problem. Jesus. Now, Jesus is the only one who can cleanse our sins away. And that's what our week is about. Our running and sinning and God's pursuit of us. See you guys tomorrow as we continue on our journey with Jonah and learn how his story, it teaches really about our story.
You call us to go, 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 but sin says no, no, no. Even as we run, 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 your grace will overcome. When you draw near, the darkness disappears. You send the sun. It was your grace, grace, grace. It was always your grace. Whether a fish in the sea or a man on a tree, when I call your name, you are always the same. Whether I run or I stay, if I sin or obey, there's always your grace. You call us to go, 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 so the world may know, know, know what you've done, done, done. Our sin's been overcome. When you draw near, the darkness disappears. You sent your son. It was your grace, grace, grace. It was always your grace. Whether a fish in the sea or a man on a tree, when I call your name, you are always the same. Whether I run or I stay, if I sin or obey, there's always your grace. When you draw near, the darkness disappears. You sent your son. It was your grace, grace, grace. It was always your grace. Whether a fish in the sea or a man on a tree, when I call your name, you are always the same. Whether I run or I stay, if I sin or obey, there's always your grace.
Well, hey, boys and girls, welcome to this episode of Craftiest Catch. I'm your host, Fisherman Ron, and I'm here on site at Duncan Canal in Kenner because my good friend Miss Hope told me there's some crafty critters in these waters. Oh, did you hear that? That's my friend Mr. Flipper. His purpose is to let me know when I've got something on the line, and it looks like I got something good. Give me just 1 second. Wow, look at this. This is so cool. That's a bottlenose dolphin for you. Well, listen, that's it for us today. And like I always say, if I don't see you soon, I'll catch you later.